Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. To start things off, in an exclusive interview for the Gregarious Mammal podcast, Stephen Thomas, the current CTO of Ripple, had the opportunity to chat with Chris Ward about his views on the advances in decentralization and payment processing, as well as the philosophy that has led Ripple to become one of the most successful companies in the world of distributed ledger technologies. It is no secret to anyone that Ripple is a company that has managed to gain the trust of several key players in the world of finance, and despite having a controversial image in the world of cryptocurrencies, no one doubts the seriousness and solidity that the company projects in the business world. During the interview, Stephen Thomas confirmed that American Express, one of the leading companies in the financial services industry, has agreed to use Ripple's platform as a means of processing the vast amount of transactions they handle. Also, Mr. Thomas confirmed that Western Union is already interested in adopting Ripple's platform, which is a sign of the strength and credibility of Ripple, as well as the convenience of the services it provides through blockchain technologies. Approximately at minute 4 of the interview, while speaking about the benefits of the products offered by Ripple, Mr. Thomas confirmed American Express may already be testing Ripple's platform. He said, and I do quote, "Some of the companies that have agreed to use xCurrent and xRapid are companies like American Express and Western Union, so there are big companies that are testing this," end quote. Ripple's growth within the financial sector has brought big capitals closer to the world of blockchain technologies, but its vision of centralization and support for traditional finance systems has generated some rejection among the most purists in the crypto community. However, this doesn't seem to bother Ripple's team. Mr. Thomas comments, and I quote, "Ripple has always been a payments company first, and blockchain has always been in our DNA, but we were never dogmatic about what we acknowledge to apply. There's a lot or a little bit of blockchain in all of our different products," end quote. He commented that the discussion about the characteristics of XRP's ledger does not bother him. He mentioned that according to his opinion, XRP is more decentralized than Bitcoin due to the high centralization of hashing power by 4 mining pools. For Stephen Thomas, much of the criticism comes from users and people with high investments in Bitcoin and other altcoins who see Ripple as a competitor of different characteristics tend to discredit him. Thomas decries that kind of thinking as, "Hey, you're competing with us, we're going to make you sound not so good," which is what we have seen in the last couple of weeks. Even Ripple aside, people don't like the company, people don't like the coin, but we've seen a lot of people talking about that Bitcoin is going to 1,000 in the next couple of weeks. We've seen people talking about that Ethereum is going to double digits. So I think I've said this before, those who scream the loudest tend to usually have, they want some type of opinion to be swayed in some sort of way. A lot of people don't like XRP because realistically, I've said this before, and there's a reason why I am bullish on the company and XRP, the token itself. It's because of the amount of partners that they have. There's no other coin out there who's partnered with American Express or MoneyGram or Western Union or the largest bank in Japan. It's all fairly obvious for those who are paying attention right now. I've never actually heard of this podcast, The Gregarious Mammal. If you have, is it good? I definitely haven't. I didn't even know one. I usually listen to tons of crypto podcasts, but I had never heard of this one, as maybe it has more to do with like overall finance than more so just a crypto type of base. Anyway, so this is the rumor confirmation. I don't know exactly what you want to call it. I told you guys before, Ripple has a history of giving away information that they don't want to give away, or maybe this is all part of their master plan to kind of drop hints that they may be working with these other companies, because a lot of the time they have non-disclosure agreements with, if you partner with someone, the company tells you you cannot say that we are partnered with you or we are going to sue you. So they're usually very hush-hush. Maybe they were given the approval to drop some names in the same exact sentence as xCurrent and xRapid. No one really knows, but we've gone over before as well that even companies or institutions that are using xCurrent is nothing more than a flick of a switch in order for them to switch over to xRapid and actually start using XRP as well. But this is more or less the Ripple, American Express, XRP, xRapid news for today. Next up, Steve Wozniak is in the news. He's been part of crypto news for more or less about 6 months now. For some reason, one day he just fell in love with crypto, and now he's in the news at least once a week. Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak announced on Tuesday that he's now working with investment-focused crypto startup Equi Capital. Speaking to No Transactions, the Bitcoin proponent said that this is the first time he has worked with a blockchain company in his career, adding that he was amazed at the technology behind cryptocurrency. Equi aims to act as an investment firm, Wozniak said. According to the startup's Twitter page, it hopes to help both retail, that's us, and professional investors purchase equity in companies in an effort to replace traditional investing firms. Wozniak continued, and I do quote, "Our approach is not like a new currency or something phony where an event will make it go up in price. It's a share of stock in a company. This company is doing investment by investors with huge track records and good investments in things like apartment buildings in Dubai. We have one person in our group who has listed out a whole apartment building for Bitcoin," end quote. How great does that sound? I would love to be able to do that. Wozniak did not provide details on what his role would be at the startup. He did indicate that the company may register in Malta, which has been working to develop a friendly regulatory environment aimed to attract firms in the blockchain and cryptocurrency space. Continuing to tout the potential use cases for blockchain technology, he said, "I've encountered people working in real estate avenues, types of Uber investments, everything we've got in our life, especially involving transactions, retail sales, car sales, manufacturing of goods, working on Bitcoin applications, and they all have value. The tech guru's choice of first crypto project is perhaps a little surprising. Equi, as reported by the Next Web, has had something of a bumpy path so far, initially launching its token via an ICO. Lack of interest and missed targets reportedly saw the sale canceled and pre-sale investors refunded. I have never heard of Equi, but this is kind of very true. A lot of it's actually kind of sad. A lot of projects around let's September, October, maybe early November of last year thought about launching, tried to launch, ended up launching their ICOs. By the time we hit December and prices were going completely insane, it was like this new rush. People thought that the bull run that we were having during that 2.5 week period, if you look at the charts, it didn't last that long. The excitement got everyone to think, let's launch our ICOs now. Let's launch this. Let's do this. Let's put this into production as quick as possible, because people assumed that the bull run would last for anywhere from 6 to 12 months. The last bull part of it really lasted for around maybe 3 weeks. So what ended up happening was that a lot of projects who ended up launching completely fell apart. And this is where we spoke about Salt maybe about a week ago or something like that now. People were asking, or rather I had it in the video, and people were asking as well why they hadn't really taken off. It's because when the market starts going down, no one really is interested in buying a portion of something or buying another coin or even investing in ICOs. It's kind of just the way that it is. I wonder how big Mr. Wozniak is going to get in the space. He said once or twice that he thinks that Bitcoin should probably be, I think, the only currency or the currency of the internet. Not sure how, not even unlikely at this point that that's going to be. I think it's rather a matter of time. I'm certain that we're going to have at least 10 coins that are going to be like the kind of go-to. I don't think we're ever going to see a complete collapse of the crypto market. I don't think there's ever a future where Bitcoin will be the only coin out there like he has predicted and many other people have predicted. I think we're going to see a system where we kind of have, the euro, the dollar, the yen, the renminbi, what have you. That we're going to have something like that, but we're definitely going to have one coin that is like the go-to, kind of like the US dollar. And everything else will also be traded back and forth. That's just kind of how I feel about it. I don't see a world where Bitcoin will completely envelop everything because there's too much love for other coins, if that kind of makes a lot of sense. I think Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, XRP, EOS, Neo, Stellar, they would have to be hacked at the exact same time, and then Bitcoin would have to kind of take over everything. But I don't think that's very plausible or probably going to happen. Anyway, that is the news because Steve Wozniak, as he is the co-founder of Apple, anyone from any of these major companies even touching or thinking about getting into crypto is always very big news, because everyone's still speculating as to when Apple or Amazon or Google will announce that they are either creating their own crypto or that they're going to start accepting crypto as payments, which is going to be a completely different thing. I think when Apple announces one day that they are going to accept crypto for their products, that is going to be an incredible price day. Next up, eToro is in the news. eToro, a global trading and investment platform, has announced the addition of IOTA to its list of crypto assets, bringing the total number available to 12. The move to add the 11th ranked cryptocurrency, and I think it's only 11th because Tether keeps printing stuff and they keep pushing higher and higher in the charts, by market cap comes as investors seek more diversity with their portfolios. IOTA is now available on the platform alongside Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, XRP, Litecoin, Ethereum Classic, Dash, Stellar, EOS, Cardano, and Neo. In light of the announcement, Yoni Assia, co-founder and CEO at eToro, said, "At eToro, we believe in diversification, and we are committed to bringing more crypto assets onto our platform for our users to invest in," end quote. Underpinned by a blockless technology known as the Tangle, IOTA enables transactions to be settled with zero fees. This means that devices are able to trade the exact amount of resources on demand, in addition to storing data from sensors and data loggers securely, which are verified on the internet, on the ledger. Notably, IOTA is aiming to become the cornerstone of the Internet of Things. Asia continued by adding, "Today, there are billions of devices that rely on the Internet of Things, and this number is growing exponentially with millions more new sensors added every week. As the planet becomes ever more connected, IOTA aims to be the ledger of everything by allowing data exchange between the sensor-equipped devices that populate IoT." So typically when IOTA is in the news, I told you year ago, I don't know. I did not really care for IOTA. I actually don't not mind them now. Like, I think they're pretty okay. They've had a lot of issues before in the past where people are saying, especially, I don't know if it's just like a rivalry type thing at this point, the same exact people who are trashing Ethereum or who are trashing Cardano are also trashing IOTA. We've had issues before with the Tangle. I don't think IOTA has a proper wallet, if I'm not mistaken. This is one of the issues that we had before, where I think people said they were losing their IOTA, that Tangle doesn't work. The people behind Cardano said that the Tangle doesn't work mathematically because Cardano is all about math, and they say that they have been proven to be able to do this mathematically, therefore everything else doesn't work. But IOTA has a lot of partnerships. They have been, not even the eToro thing, that's not really a partnership. As far as them, I told you guys, they're cornering the European market, where they're working with a lot of car dealers and stuff like that, and they recently got put into some type of like the electric cars where like you're recharging and stuff like that is also going to be using their Tangle and not their blockchain, as they don't have a blockchain. Still yet to be seen if this will have any effect on the price, as people don't really, we've only had news that people plan on using the Tangle and not the actual coin itself. I wonder how they plan on leveraging this into making money. If everyone is just using your blockchain, but you're not actually charging any real fees for them using it, or rather you don't have any nodes that will allow you to get the money from the transactions that are going through it, kind of makes me wonder. I think they have a relatively bright future. They're barely in the news. I don't know if they're just trying to update everything to become more better. I don't know if I said that correctly. You guys kind of get what I'm saying. The point is, this is what's happening with IOTA today. I'm going to assume that as we draw closer to September, IOTA is probably going to come forward either with some type of new news, as in some type of update, or maybe some type of partnership. But I think they risk falling behind because they haven't really, I mean, to be fair, a lot of other projects also haven't been coming forward saying exactly that they're going to be releasing this, or that something new is going to happen, or that they have this type of partnership coming up, because the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months, whenever someone announces that they have a new partnership and the price goes down, the amazing news of whoever they partner with completely is for naught. So I think at least short term they're going to do well. I think we need, at least with IOTA, because they're so sparingly in the news, I think we really need about another, let's say 12 to 18 months. I still predict that by 2020, a lot of the coins that we have now will have completely washed away. I don't think IOTA is going to be one of them, but I think they have about 18 months to be able to prove themselves. As far as like actual use cases, this also ties back into, because we have so many other companies who are doing ratings on cryptocurrencies, and you need to, at this point, when institutional money does flow into the market, we need, or rather we're going to have all of these rankings, and you need to show that your coin actually does something, because your ranking will be low, and then major investors who have hundreds of millions of dollars to invest will completely stay away from your coin because it's not in the rankings and your coin doesn't do anything. if that makes any type of sense. Next up, members of the U.S. Senate Committee on Energy and Natural Resources asked about the cost of cryptocurrency mining and the opportunities for blockchain in the public sector on Wednesday. Like other crypto-related hearings on Capitol Hill, the hearing, which featured a range of public and private sector speakers, served in part as an informational session for lawmakers who aren't very familiar with the technology, which is just about all of them. So I think these hearings are kind of weird, but I like that they're at least having them simply because they don't know what's going on in the cryptocurrency space. So I'd rather them have these things and fumble around for a little bit and then kind of understand this space a bit more. In contrast, with past congressional hearings, which at times turned acrimonious towards the concept of blockchain and cryptocurrencies, senators on the Energy Committee largely inquired about how blockchain can be applied to various projects. The people giving testimony were Robert Kane, CEO and president of the Corporation for National Research Initiatives, Paul Skate, chief cybersecurity, and I'm not going to read through all those names, there's way too many names to read. In remarks, Committee Chair Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska noted the hearing will examine any cybersecurity advantages that blockchain and similar technologies might offer over other ways of securing our energy infrastructure. The foremost risk discussed at the hearing revolved around the energy needs of cryptocurrency miners. Networks relying on proof of work, which require the expanse of energy to prove that work has been completed, generally require large amounts of energy, such as the Bitcoin blockchain, according to Golden. The witnesses estimated that public blockchains may be using anywhere from 1 to as much as 5 gigawatts worldwide, though as Golden continued, this is less than 0.1% of the global power usage. Murkowski remarked that growing demand on the local level from new crypto mining farms can cause stress for utility providers and may even damage the electric grid. Concerns at this time may translate to increased costs of the provider's customers. Not going to really read a bit more. What it comes down to is we've heard this for a while now. This was actually predicted around 2015, 2016 about the future escalating cost of what it's going to cost in order to be able to mine Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And now it seems that we're at this point where everyone thinks it is a time to discuss it because they think that it's going to be a problem. Recently in the news, there was, I can't remember what country it was. There was some country and someone had a mining farm and they actually had to turn the mining farm off because the people living in the surrounding area said that their machines were so loud. So I assume they had tens of thousands of machines, that their machines were so loud that they were actually receiving death threats. I think there was like an axe in their door, something stupid like that. So I think it's starting to peeve a number of people, especially because the crypto space is still relatively small. And even just taking up 0.1%, if we end up getting to 1% or even 2.5 or 3% of the entire global power usage just to power machines that are creating digital money, this is going to cause a lot more issues. We've seen a couple of other countries who have come forward and they have either banned crypto mining, rather proof of work mining. Proof of stake mining is obviously completely fine because it just relies on your laptop. Or they have taken away funding or special treatment for companies who have, people are trying to go to Alaska. They're trying to go to places in northern Canada, in Greenland and Iceland, and I believe the Nordic countries, like northern Norway and Sweden, I want to say as well. Pretty much it comes down to this is going to be a discussion for quite some time, and I don't think that there will be a ban on proof of work, but we've heard there was another meeting a couple of days ago where the guy was saying that he thinks that government should put, which is weird, he said the government should put a cap on the types of blockchains that are created and how much energy they could potentially use. So if there is another coin that is going to be created, it can never have something in its code that will allow it to become as energy intensive as Bitcoin, which is kind of insane because then you're then telling other people what they can and cannot put into their code for their future things. Because what if eventually someone's like, you can't make sure that your thing doesn't go above 150 transactions because they don't want it to compete with Visa or MasterCard. Make sure yours blockchain doesn't do so and so and so, because it's a very dangerous step. I don't think people will be this is a US hearing. I think other countries are a bit more open when it comes to certain rules around cryptocurrencies. This is why we've seen other people flocking to other countries besides the United States. But this is kind of where we are right now. I don't think you'll be able to tell people what kind of blockchain they can and cannot create. But I think a lot of people in general have been talking about moving over to proof of stake. especially even Ethereum is also moving over to proof of stake, because I think Vitalik said that he doesn't want a situation like we have with Bitcoin, and he also wants, I think, it to be a bit easier for people to be able to mine Ethereum. Okay. Next up, Bitcoin Cash is in the news. In an upcoming network testing process on the 1st of September, Bitcoin Cash is set to put stress on its network by involving individuals and communities to make a huge number of transactions in a day. I assume you can also be part of this. The day is being called as the BCH Stress Test Day, and we'll be testing the tools built for managing microtransactions in bulk. As a practice for the event, the members of the Bitcoin Cash community also lit up the Bitcoin Cash network by making around 687,000 transactions through the day on the 1st of August. The true scalability potential of Bitcoin Cash will be revealed on the 1st of September. Here's the chart. Recently, the technology of Bitcoin Cash also saw an advancement when the team decided to increase the block size from 8 MB to 32 MB. If I'm not mistaken, I think Bitcoin, the normal Bitcoin, has 1 MB or 2 MB. I think that's like the max it is right now. So they went from 8 to 32. This facilitated about 10 million transactions in a day with the speed of 100 transactions per second. The problem of scalability has been lurking around the corner for as long as the blockchain space has been in existence. Many developers have attempted to solve the issue, but none have achieved complete success. For instance, Bitcoin and Ethereum have figured out their own solutions to the issue of scalability, such as SegWit and sharding, respectively. These are known as the second layer solutions. However, Bitcoin Cash has been against this approach of using off-chain scalability solutions. In a way, Bitcoin Cash and SegWit are competitors, as the original purpose of both the inceptions was to solve the problem of Bitcoin Core being the normal Bitcoin, while SegWit believes in decreasing the size of transactions to provide speed and scalability. Bitcoin Cash attempted to do the same by increasing the block size on the network. There are multiple, that's not really important. It says who allows for the support, not really super important. This is going to, what other coin was it? This was a couple weeks ago. There was another coin that was being put under a stress test. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it was actually Bitcoin Cash as well. I think people announced that they were going to try and destroy the Bitcoin Cash. This had to be about a month and a half ago. They said that they were going to try to destroy the Bitcoin Cash blockchain, and not even a stress test. They were going to try and load it up with so many transactions that it would completely fall apart. That apparently did not happen. But apparently they're going to do this again, or rather, I assume people behind Bitcoin Cash this time are going to try and do it. And they're going to see exactly how many transactions they can hold. They're really trying to, I mean, you have to, even if you don't really care for them, a lot of people don't care for Bitcoin Cash, you got to kind of commend them a little bit for what they're doing. They're really making an effort. They're properly increasing their block size. They're more or less, I think at this point, they've done everything that was behind the original idea from Satoshi. It was actually have everything on one chain. The idea of multiple chains comes from other companies who've been trying to profit from the lack of speed on the Bitcoin network. We've gone over this before, not going to go into it again. But let's see exactly how well they do. I think favor for Bitcoin Cash has been sliding. I think it's because of the name. It sounds a little weird. It's kind of like having something called Ripple, and then you have like Ripple Cash, or you have Ethereum, and then you have Ethereum Cash. I think there actually is also a Litecoin Cash. It just sounds a little weird. The extra add-on, especially if you're constantly hearing about Bitcoin all the time on financial channels or on wherever you might be getting your information, and then to have a cash at the end of it, I think it sounds kind of weird. I wish they had chosen like Bitcoin, not even Bitcoin 2. That sounds kind of weird. I don't even know what name they could have given it. But anyway, this is the Bitcoin Cash news for today. They're trying to, I think, prove themselves or prove that the blockchain can do exactly what it's going to do. But I think at this point, not that it's too late. I think if people were going to leave Bitcoin, I think they would have already. I think people have completely adopted the narrative of digital cash, or rather digital gold, and the store of value. I think people are completely okay with that. So for some reason, the idea of Bitcoin being used as a payment method around the entire world has completely fallen apart, and people are okay with it just being gold. But I think they also still then only really care about Bitcoin as a payment system, even though Bitcoin Cash aims to be what Bitcoin isn't. If you kind of get what I'm saying, it's all just stupid crypto politics. I don't think it'll ever end, especially not for these two coins, especially as Bitcoin Cash is like the first major fork to actually come from it. But we'll see. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen this year. I'm pretty sure it was Roger Ver who stated last year that he said 2017, that by 2018, Bitcoin Cash would simply just be called Bitcoin. That's probably not going to ever happen. Even if it does become the #1 coin, it'll still be called Bitcoin Cash. Anyway, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you guys are having a great day, morning, afternoon, and or evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Thank you once again for all of the support. I think the price of Bitcoin went up. I think it hit 6,900, is slowly is sinking back down, but I think it touched up a tiny bit after we had clarification from the New York Stock Exchange that the thing that they're going to be launching in November will be using pre-funded Bitcoin and not being traded on paper, which is exactly what we were talking about yesterday, that the price went down before when they announced it because people thought that they would just simply be able to write 100 billion pieces of paper contracts that said that they owned this Bitcoin when actually they didn't. But they announced that they are going to be using pre-funded accounts that actually must have Bitcoin on them and nothing that will be leveraged from a piece of paper. Yeah, I think I already said goodbye. So goodbye once again. Thank you once again, and I'll talk to you all soon. See you.